At 16, Elara had three problems. First, she was about to become queen. Second, she had accidentally set part of the royal banquet hall on fire. And third, she couldn't stop thinking about the boy who laughed when it happened. Now, to be fair, the fire wasn't entirely her fault. The decorative lantern had been hanging crooked, the curtain had been too close, and perhaps waving her arms dramatically while arguing with her tutor hadn't helped. Still, as nobles screamed and servants rushed for buckets, Elara expected outrage. Instead, she heard laughter, real laughter, the kind that sneaks up on you and refuses to stop. She turned and saw a young man standing beside a pile of fallen maps. His dark hair was soaked from helping extinguish the flames. His face was covered in soot, and yet he was grinning. When he noticed her staring, he shrugged. "You have to admit," he said, "it was a very impressive fire." For a moment, Elara laughed too. And that single moment would change everything, because for the first time in years, she forgot she was the future queen. She simply felt like herself. And somewhere deep beneath the kingdom, something ancient awakened. The kingdom of everyone had not seen the inner light for generations. Long ago, the royal family had been blessed with a mysterious power, a living light that protected the kingdom, a power that appeared only in rulers who lived with open hearts. But over time, the rulers changed. They became obsessed with appearing strong. They hid their fears, buried their emotions, locked away their vulnerabilities, and eventually, the light disappeared. Most people believed it was gone forever. Until Elara. A week later, the day of coronation arrived. Thousands gathered inside the great hall. The nobles watched, the council watched, the kingdom watched, and Elara wished she could disappear. The ancient crown was lowered into her head. The moment it touched her skin, golden light exploded through the room. Gas echoed every corner. The stained glass windows blazed with color. Ancient symbols carved into the stone walls burst to life. Warm light flowed through the hall like sunlight returning after a long winter. The elders stared in disbelief. The inner light had returned. Elara looked around nervously, then raised one trembling hand. "Is it supposed to do that?" Nobody answered, mostly because nobody knew. The kingdom celebrated. Elara did not, because the light refused to leave. Every emotion she felt affected the world around her. When she laughed, flowers bloomed. When she felt hopeful, the skies brightened. When she worried, storms gathered. And when she felt afraid, the palace itself seemed to hold its breath. Soon people began watching her differently. Not with admiration, with caution, with fear. Whispers spread through the court. "The light is too dangerous. She's too emotional. What happens if she loses control?" The more people feared her, the more she feared herself. So Elara made a decision. She would stop feeling. No more excitement, no more joy, no more vulnerability, no more mistakes. She would become the perfect queen. Controlled, composed, untouchable. The light immediately began to fade. The only person who seemed unaffected was Theo, the young mapmaker who somehow appeared everywhere. She found him in the gardens, in the library, once somehow on a palace rooftop. When she asked what it was he was doing there, he replied, "Excellent question, I was hoping you'd know." One evening she found him sketching maps beneath an old oak tree. "Everyone thinks I'm dangerous," she said. Theo didn't look up. "They're wrong. You don't know that. I know exactly that." She folded her arms. "How?" He finally met her gaze. "Because dangerous people don't spend all day worrying about becoming dangerous." Elara blinked. Theo returned to his map. "Also, dangerous people rarely apologize to furniture after bumping into it." She groaned. "You saw that?" The chair accepted your apology very graciously. For the first time in weeks, she laughed. The leaves overhead glowed softly. Neither of them mentioned it. As months passed, their friendship deepened, and somewhere along the way, something changed. Elara began looking for him in every room. Theo began finding excuses to stay longer whenever she appeared. Neither spoke about it. Both knew. One evening, they sat overlooking the sea cliffs beyond the palace. The sun painted the horizon gold. "I think everyone expects me to be someone I'm not," Elara said quietly. Theo smiled. "Good." She frowned. "Good? Imagine how disappointed they'd be if you turned out to be perfect." She laughed, then fell silent. "Sometimes I think the kingdom deserves a better queen." Theo shook his head. "No. You don't even know what kind of queen I'll be." "I know exactly what kind." "And what kind is that?" "The kind who cares." His voice softened. "The kind who feels everything." "The kind who refuses to become cold just because everyone else thinks that's strength." For a moment, neither spoke. Then Theo added, "That's the kind I'd follow." Her heart skipped. And this time, the light around them glowed brighter than ever. Unfortunately, not everyone welcomed the light's return. The royal council grew fearful. The stronger Elara became, the more nervous they became. Eventually, they made a decision. Seal the light before it fully awakens. Elara overheard them, and what hurt most wasn't their fear. It was the realization that part of her agreed. Maybe they were right. Maybe she was too emotional, too sensitive, too uncertain, too much. That night, she locked herself away. She buried every feeling she had. The light dimmed, the flowers wilted, the skies darkened, and for the first time since her coronation, the kingdom felt cold. The next morning, Elara fled to the sea cliffs. Wind crashed against the rocks below. Tears filled her eyes. "I can't do this." Theo appeared beside her. Of course he did. Somehow he always did. "What if they're right?" she asked. "What if something is wrong with me?" Theo was quiet for a long moment. Then he shook his head. "No." "What if I fail?" "No." "What if I hurt everyone? Again?" "No." Frustration broke through her fear. "Why do you keep saying no?" Theo smiled gently, because for the first time, he understood what she needed to hear. Elara stared at him. "The light isn't reacting to your power," Theo said softly. "Then what is it reacting to?" His eyes held hers. "You. The real you. The girl who laughs too loudly. The girl who cares too deeply. The girl who keeps trying to hide the very things that make her extraordinary." A tear slipped down her cheek. For years, she had believed her emotions were weaknesses. For years, she had tried to become smaller, quieter, safer. But standing there beside Theo, she suddenly understood. The light had never asked her to be perfect. It had only asked her to be herself. Theo gently brushed a tear from her face. "You know," he said with a nervous smile, "for someone destined to rule a kingdom, you worry far too much." A laugh escaped her. Then another. Soon she was laughing and crying at the same time. Theo laughed too, and for a moment neither looked away. The wind softened. The world seemed to grow still around them. "Elara?" The way he said her name made her heart race. Not because she was a princess, not because she carried the light, but because he saw her, all of her. The frightened parts, the hopeful parts, the imperfect parts, and somehow, he stayed. Before she could overthink it, she stepped closer. Theo met her halfway. The first kiss was gentle, warm, honest, and in that moment, golden light blossomed around them. Not as an explosion, not as a display of power, but as a quiet glow that spread across the cliffs like sunrise. The light wasn't celebrating magic, it was celebrating truth. For the first time in her life, Elara wasn't hiding. And for the first time in generations, the kingdom's ancient light shone brighter than ever. The light appeared when she laughed, when she loved, when she hoped, when she was honest. It wasn't rewarding perfection. It wasn't responding to authenticity. The light wasn't asking her to become someone else. It was asking her to finally be herself. Every part of herself. The brave parts, the frightened parts, the strong parts, the broken parts, all of it. Especially the parts she thought made her unworthy. So Elara stopped fighting it. She accepted every piece of who she was. And the inner light awakened completely. Golden light spread across the cliffs, across the sea, across the kingdom, warm, gentle, alive. Not like a weapon, like a sunrise. The people of everyone arrived expecting power. They expected a miracle. Instead, they found a young woman standing peacefully in her own light, unafraid, unhidden, whole. And for the first time in generations, the kingdom understood. The light had never truly disappeared. People simply forgotten where it came from. It wasn't hidden in crowns or castles or ancient magic. It lived inside every person, waiting to be uncovered, waiting to be accepted, waiting to shine. And standing beside Elara was Theo, the first person who saw her light before she ever saw it herself. Because sometimes the brightest light we discover isn't magical at all. Sometimes it's the courage to finally be who we truly are.